This video is a re-edit of an older video I had made. I remade this video to the best of my ability to conform to YouTube's age restriction guidelines. Because of this, there is no gore, and cussing will be light to none. This is a brief retelling of tragic historical events. I do the research, editing, and writing by myself. By that nature, there will be a few mistakes. Thank you for watching.
Tell me in a sentence who you are. Nobody. I'm nobody. I'm a tramp, a bum, a hobo. I'm a boxcar and a jug of wine. And a straight razor if you get too close to me.
Charles Mills Maddox was born November 12, 1934 to Kathleen Maddox in Cincinnati, Ohio. She was only 16 when Charles was born. The father, Colonel Walker Henderson Scott, used his name to indicate that he was in the Army, although he wasn't. After finding out Maddox was pregnant, Scott said that he'd be sent away for Army business, and after months passed, Maddox realized that he would not return. Maddox filed a paternity suit which settled in her favor. Charles Maddox would never know his biological father, and instead he would take the last name of his stepfather, William Eugene Manson, becoming the infamous
Charles Manson.
During most of his earlier life, the young Charles Manson was in and out of reform schools and had committed a significant amount of petty crime, which ultimately escalated to federal crimes. He would start his first sentence in 1956 due to violating his parole. After an 11-year run of spending time in and out of various prisons, Manson was finally released from Terminal Island, a federal correctional institution in Los Angeles, California. Manson would then head to San Francisco and begin assembling the group that would come to be known as the Family. After accumulating a sizable amount of people, Manson and the family moved to Los Angeles and lived in Topanga Canyon. The family would stay camped out while Manson concentrated his efforts on making connections in the music world. While networking, Manson came across the Beatles' song Helter Skelter from their White Album and became obsessed with it, thinking that the Beatles were referencing the race war he had predicted. Manson had believed that the black movements would wipe out the oppressive white force, and after slaughtering all the whites, the black population would realize that they were mistaken and needed the whites as masters. This is when Manson and his family would emerge from hiding to fill the position. He would use Helter Skelter as a code word to reference this scenario. To gain influence from major names in the music business, Manson would use a small group of loyal girls from the family as bait. This ended up paying off by getting the attention of the Beach Boys drummer Dennis Wilson. To keep Manson and his girls around, Wilson would let some of the Manson family move into his house. Thanks to his association with Wilson, Manson was also able to meet the Beach Boys' friend and producer,
Terry Melcher.
in Melcher's home located at
150 Cielo Drive.
Initially, Melcher got along with Manson and had talked about signing him as well as producing a documentary on Manson's hippie commune. But after taking some time to think, Melcher decided against signing Manson, and after some issues arose during filming, the documentary was also canceled. This made Manson furious. Originally, Manson thought Melcher had still lived at Cielo Drive. However, Roman Polanski and his wife,
Sharon Tate.
recently moved in. With the lust for revenge and the drive to kickstart Helter Skelter, Manson ordered his hardcore followers to kill everyone at the Cielo Drive house. On the night of August 8, 1969, Manson's followers Tex Watson, Susan Atkins, Patricia Krenwinkel, and Linda Kasabian drove up to 150 Cielo Drive. A young man by the name of Stephen Parent was driving home after trying to sell a radio when he noticed Tex, who was cutting a phone line to the Cielo Drive house. Noticing Parent, Tex walked up to the car, pulled out a revolver, and while Parent was pleading to be let go, Tex shot the young man 3 times, killing him almost instantly. The group, with the exception of the driver, Linda Kasabian, then snuck into the house. Tate and her friends, Jay Sebring, Abigail Foiger, and Wojciech Frykowski were asleep in the home when the Manson group broke in. Polanski had been filming in England at the time. The group woke Tate and her friends, put nooses around their necks, and began to shoot, stab, and beat the victims, leaving a horrific scene to be discovered by the housekeeper the following morning. None of the victims survived. The following night, the Manson family, with Charles Manson and Leslie Van Houten now as part of the group, drove to 3301 Waverly Drive. There, Manson and Tex tied up Lino and Rosemary LaBianca. Manson then instructed his followers to kill them. The Manson family members separated the LaBiancas, taking Lino into the living room where he was stabbed to death by Tex. Rosemary was stabbed in the front bedroom by Krenwinkel. Tex then told Van Houten to participate. Van Houten then stabbed Rosemary 16 times. Before showering and leaving the house, the family had used LaBianca's blood to write Rise, Death to Pigs, and Helter Skelter. Charles Manson had planned on another murder that night, but the group knocked on the wrong door, causing them to abort the plan. Irritated, Manson left in the car, making the murderers hitchhike back to the commune. While in confinement for an unrelated crime, Atkinson boasted to her cellmates about the killings. This is what ended up helping the police connect the murders. In 1971, Manson and the group were tried and sentenced for their roles in the Tate LaBianca murders. Originally, all the members that were found guilty were sentenced to death, but in 1972, the Supreme Court had struck down the death penalty in all states. Californians had voted to reinstate the death penalty, but the Manson family had already been resentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Manson would end up dying due to cardiac arrest in 2017. He was 82.